Z here, and it's been a while. It's been a long while, and I guess I should open up by just saying I apologize for that. But without going too much into my life and boring you guys with that, something very bad happened, and then something very good happened. Luckily, they equaled each other out, and I just had a shit ton of time on my hands that I couldn't dedicate to YouTube. I should say, probably not a shit ton of time on my hands, but a lot of stuff put on my hands. So I had to take care of all that stuff, and then now after a while, things have settled down, and the depressing mundanity of life has brought me back to finally getting back on here and doing something, and instead of just sitting around and watching TV shows all day and infomercials. But you know what I did find out after all this time of being gone? Dan Aykroyd. What a great guy. Weird. Entertaining guy. I should have said entertaining the entire time. He's an entertaining guy on a whole nother level. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot to say about him. Hey, if you saw his Crystal Head vodka commercial, you would think, okay, something's wrong with this guy. But wait, there's more. If anyone has seen any of his interviews, you also know that he likes to think aliens exist and that mediums are totally legit and the paranormal and everything. Everything that I think is cool and interesting, this man wholeheartedly believes. Which is why he's one of my favorite people nowadays, at least in Hollywood, because let's be fair, all of them are gross pig monsters. But one thing that some of you might not know is that he took all that big bundle of weird confusion, and he actually went out there and he wrote, directed, made a whole movie. And does his weirdness show through it? Do pigs fucking slop? Because absolutely he does. And it's a fun ride that nobody really seems to like, and I love it. I grew up on this movie, and I thought, maybe if I kind of watch it, because it's been a long time. Like I said, I grew up on it. I know the whole movie almost like the back of my hand, but it's been 6, 7, 8 years since I've seen it. And I said, you know what? I have a lot of time on my hands. I have a whole lot of time on my hands, and I don't really have to do much. A lot of sitting around, and what good's that gonna do? What am I gonna do? Watch YouTube all day? Hell, absolutely no, because I get super jealous that everyone's doing better than me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally share with you guys, not a bad movie that I hate, and I love talking about bad movies, but I'm going to talk to you about a bad movie, supposedly what everyone thinks is a bad movie, that I absolutely love. And that is the hidden gem that not a lot of people seem to know about or care about, Nothing But Trouble. Now, just like any other review out there, the first thing that I should do is share with all of you fine folks the plot. And to anyone who has ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes, they're pretty good movies, right? Yeah, I like them too. Alright, so it starts with Christopher Thorne, played with Chevy Chase, who is a financial advisor to some big firm, really doesn't matter, standing in an elevator when he meets Diane, played by Demi Moore, who's just like any other woman in Hollywood that shares mere moments with Chevy Chase. She starts to cry. A lot.
Listen, some people are throwing a party up in my apartment. Why don't you come up for a drink? It'll help you relax.
This obviously gets Chris's dick rock hard, and he tries to invite her up to a party that he's having to drink away her problems, which she obviously, rebuffs him, because even though this was the early 90s, that's a really fucking weird thing to do, and leads to the first good joke of the movie.
Thanks for the espresso maker. The bag of shit.
Next, after a heated phone call with, it really doesn't matter at this point, Diane needs to find a car to go someplace, which, instead of asking a friend that she might have in town if she could borrow their car, or hell, maybe even renting one, she asks the random man that she just met in the elevator 5 minutes ago.
So if you're not going, can I borrow your car?
Bitch, what?
Look, guys, I understand that the script isn't solid, but just give me a little bit more time. I swear I'll make it worth it. But he accepts because woman hot, man want woman, ooga booga sexy time. You know what I'm trying to say here. And they leave with two of the worst characters in this entire movie, bar none. And I'm aware that they're trying to make these two Brazilians the most aggravating people to watch, but fuck, they do a really good job at it.
Chris, dude, I imagine that you did not think we'd be up so early.
I had no idea.
Hi, kitties.
You won't get lost. Look at all that fancy equipment you got.
I don't understand what's the big deal. We made a nice little surprise picnic for you. You invited brother, right? And now you're doing where we want to open. I don't understand what's the big deal. We made a nice little surprise picnic.
But hey, there we go. We got the boring stuff out of the way, and now I can explain why I enjoy this movie so much. Because after Chris fails to stop at a red light, and then tries to outrun the cops, because I guess that's just what successful financial consultants did back in the early 90s, they get caught by the one and only John Candy. Well, his name's actually Dennis, but I can't see him as anyone besides John Candy, so from now on, I'm just going to call him John Candy, okay? So anyway, John Candy arrests them and brings them in to be sentenced. And this is where the movie starts actually getting good. Before, it just felt like a road comedy movie where hijinks ensue and everyone starts loving each other by the very end. Oh, no, because we are in Vulcanvania territory right now. And when you walk into the Vulcanvanian world, you're actually walking into the mind of Dan Aykroyd. So, may God have mercy on your soul. Because look at this weird and wacky environment. You could say whatever you want about the movie before this, but from now on, everything is very detailed. You have a Mad Max drawbridge guarded by a coked-out angel and a rusted metal Loch Ness monster. You got toaster graveyards. You got a school and a courthouse mansion in the middle of a massive junkyard established in 1898. You got...
Oh, when you go, the cat's eyes will spin. Now listen!
Oh, yeah. You got this guy, too. By far, the weirdest, strangest, most entertaining character I've seen in a movie in a long time. This is Judge Alvin Vulcanizer, played by, well, I think you know who he is. He is what makes this movie, by far. Everything else is kind of on par of what you would expect from the deepest parts of our Danny boy's mind, but this one, he really went out. He concentrated all of his creativity into this one character. Not only the makeup that's, well, horrifying, but he gives out a real if your senile veteran grandpa and your weird uncle that collects trash could fuse together kind of feel. Not only does he sound like he's going to die at any moment, he has phrases like,
Look who's got the front seats of the Mexican hat dance now. Just like a bunch of spiders in a birthday cake. Hog glousered, tub wankled my grandfather. Yeah. Keep all your fat parts in one place. I'll be right down. Put out that dog rocket! Struck dumb at birth by a thunderclap. Quick as sump grease through a 10-year-old gooseberry.
which I'm sure all those phrases make sense to Dan, but I'm at a loss for the most part. I kind of get it, but not really. It is sure fun to watch, though. And the entire movie after this moment is just a grand fever dream. You have trap floors that lead to piles of squeaky toys, hot dogs that look... I don't think there's a word that really does it justice, honestly. A condiments tray that's run by a toy train set, a pickle shooter, a bed that literally defies gravity, John Candy and drag, which... yeah, that one haunted me a little bit when I was younger. And that's just scratching the surface. I didn't even mention the sweaty, obese blacksmith babies. Oh yeah, you did hear me right. Sweaty, obese, blacksmith babies. Okay, well, they're obviously not babies, but they wear diapers, and they have that one curl on the top of their head like they're from a fucking Saturday morning cartoon, and more side tits than Zoidberg has, which I don't even think that that's even possible. You know, the more that I'm starting to reminisce about this, the more I'm thinking, all of this can't be in the same movie. There's just no way. I must be, like, thinking of multiple movies because I'm getting old and senile. But no, I've seen this about 20 times in my life, and it's all in there. But hey, I get it. If none of this has convinced you to even watch it, even passively watch it in the background while you're playing games or doing chores, maybe the Bone Stripper will. That's right! The death penalty in this county is literally a roller coaster ride leading you to a machine that strips the flesh off your bones and spits out your bones to a target because, I mean, why not? You can't just have bones all over the place. That'll look weird. And to be honest, there's no better phrase than that to describe this movie. Why not? Just why not? Why do we need one of the main characters to literally rip off his nose in full frontal camera view? Why not? Why do they have a massive watermelon cutting machine lying around? Why not? Why are you forcing us to make this movie at gunpoint, Mr. Aykroyd? Why not? And honestly, I'm not going to talk anymore about the movie because honestly, they just go through hijinks. They go through different rooms that are interesting and weird, and they get to know each other, and then they find out that all these people have actually been killed here for multiple years. Everything in this movie is just weird. And look, we live in a time where movies out there have to subvert expectations and have stories that relate to real life issues. Everything has to be about a message nowadays. And you know, I think we all deserve to just enjoy the entertainment no matter how dumb it is, okay? You want to watch the live action version of Cat in the Hat because you like it? You go do it. You actually enjoy the Transformers movie and think that they're infinitely rewatchable? I wouldn't admit that in public, but you do you. You think the Star Wars is a better trilogy than Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy? Okay, well, let's not get too crazy here, guys, but you know what I'm trying to say. And you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what the ending is. Nope, I'm not even going to do that. I'm leaving that to those of you who are still listening to me because, well, I'm assuming you're listening because you're still interested, but honestly, if you're listening for any other reasons, I'll take it. I just want my retention time up. But my final word in this whole review is that this is a great movie that will entertain at best and befuddle at worst. But hey, at least it's not boring. Thanks for watching, and cheers.